All right, guys, I'm back with another video for you today. I am talking about some really awesome budget fragrances for you today. And Christmas just came and went, and perhaps you've got some money and you want to buy some awesome fragrances, but you want to make sure you don't overspend. So I'm going to be talking to you about several fragrances here. Most importantly, a list of 10 fragrances, but I've got a few options at the beginning of the video that I think you guys need to know about. They're not necessarily super budget, but I think they're really highly discounted. One of them is actually most likely going to be completely gone and you're never going to be able to get it. So this is the video for you if you are a shopper of quality fragrances and you don't want to spend a lot of money. So most importantly, this first one right here, I noticed that there's stock out there. This is Guerlain's Shalimar Millesime Jasmine. Have you guys gotten your nose on this one? This is a flanker, the fourth in the series of Millesime fragrances. So you've got Millesime Vanilla, you've got the Tonka, the Iris, and this is the last one until they created the Lessons for the 100th year anniversary this year. So this is currently selling the price 50 ml for $65. The Iris, the Vanilla, and also the Tonka are completely gone. This will be gone as well. If you are all about Guerlain and Shalimar, and you're a collector, don't miss out on this. I recommend you have it in your collection. So this is the Millesime Jasmine from Guerlain for the Shalimar series of fragrances. I have all, well, I don't have all four. The only one I'm missing is the Vanilla, but I do have this one and I'm showing it to you right now and recommending you to get it. Again, it's $65 for 50 ml. I bought mine in France when it first came out. And of course, it was around 120 euros, somewhere around there. So it's a good price right now. So basically, what's the deal with Millesime Jasmine? They've amplified the jasmine in the Shalimar DNA, and they've just intensified it. So I believe the jasmine, along with the Tonka, the Vanilla, and the Iris are part of the Guerlain. And so they did these various different Millesime fragrances, and so they've made one with a boosted up jasmine touch in the release. So it does come off a bit indolic, but I think anybody that's into jasmine or floral notes and also Guerlain and Shalimar would really appreciate having this in the collection. And most importantly, it's really highly discounted now. And also, it's going to be sold out and it won't be around much longer. So get yourself a bottle. Again, it's 50 ml for $65 currently. And so I highly recommend it. It's a really great one. Especially, like I said, if you love the Shalimar DNA, the Guerlain DNA, and you want something with a little bit more jasmine added to the mix of Shalimar, then you get that. And then the next one I'm going to recommend also, it's one of the best deals that I've seen online for an actual fragrance we've featured in a Scent Club kit. And I've mentioned this multiple times. There's still stock out there. Get it, because this currently sells 100 ml for almost $400 on Neiman Marcus. This is $181 for the Imperial Peacock from ALEXANXRE. Definitely a really quality offering if you are into kind of almondy, gourmand fragrances, powdery. And also, I've been mentioning this kind of gives me a light hint of fougere style. I think it has some aromatic notes in there. You're going to really love this one. We still are selling some of the individual samples left over from our original kit, which was launched a year ago last autumn. But if you are at all into gorgeous bottles, really beautiful gourmands, not overly sweet though, I highly recommend you get that one because, as I said, it is around $400 for 100 ml at Neiman Marcus, but it's currently selling at highly discounted for $181. So really, really great prices. So let's get started with the actual budget list. Some of these fragrances were featured in recent deep dive videos of masterpiece fragrances, 100 fragrances you must get your nose on. If you haven't been watching those videos, please do. I should have them linked here in somewhere in the video. But the first fragrance I want to highlight that I purchased this year, once again, after a long time, this is Paul Sebastian's PS Fine Cologne, 120 ml for $34. If you're at all into nostalgia, classics, men's fragrances, musky fragrances, 70s fragrances and things like that, you must have this in your collection. And the good thing about this one is it garners compliments, and that is a positive always for me. It's quite musky. It's also aromatic, so you get lavendery aromatic touches. And then beneath it all, there's also some ambery, woody, powdery touches as well. Really nicely done. Of course, it's not identical because it's been reformulated. It's been thinned out. It's also a cologne concentration, as you can see right here. But it's $34 for 120 ml. Totally worth it. You can also get a tester for probably about like $7, $8 less. So really great. It's light. It's not super intense, but I overspray anyway. And the fact that I oversprayed and it is a light fragrance, I still got a compliment and still get compliments and things like that. So I think it's a really awesome scent. And currently it smells still perfectly fine, just lighter, but super sexy as well. So that is Paul Sebastian's PS Fine Cologne. Please get it. It's a really, really awesome fragrance for really, really cheap prices. Like this next one, I'm shocked at how great this quality is. And I recently featured it a few days ago in the Masterpiece Fragrances video. This is Dana's Taboo. This is also an eau de cologne concentration. Here it is. But for me, it acts more like EDT bordering EDP. Because the types of notes that are in here, it's resins, it's balsamic notes, it's amber and things like that. There's also patchouli here. So if you're at all into classic ambery oriental style fragrances, as they used to be called, this is definitely one for you to have in your collection. To me, it's like a lot of, there's a little bit of a head shop type experience here. And there's smoky touches and a lot of that earthy patchouli touches and a lot of warm, spicy, kind of resinous, ambery touches together. And it comes off quite strong. It's an amber, it's intense, it's very, very, cold weather type fragrance. And it can be overwhelming to some people as well who don't like super strong fragrances. And for an eau de cologne, this is also really, really strong. This is $12. This bottle is $12 and it's totally, totally worth it. Also, it's targeted feminine. I don't think it's a feminine fragrance. It's super unisex, if not masculine leaning. It's an amber, resinous, balsamic, warm, spicy, aromatic, even earthy, woody, smoky. All of these come to mind here for this fragrance. You've got to have it in your collection if you're at all a collector and a lover of classic fragrances. It might be like, Shalimar is the super refined amber fragrance from 100 years ago. This, I can't remember now the year, but it came out after Shalimar, probably in the 30s, I think this came out. I could be wrong, though. I'm not 100% sure because it's fairly new to me. I've known people that have worn it. But last summer, I did a haul video and I featured this in there because I bought it. I wanted to have it in my collection because it's definitely something I need to have to look back on to kind of see the kind of fragrances that were launched, 100 or so years ago. And to this day, it still smells great. And it's definitely something worth having. And $12 is a great, great price. If you're at all into fragrances like Grand Soir, which is even super refined and slightly gourmand leaning, but you want something rougher a bit, more resinous, more amber, a lot of warm spices, earthy notes. And as I said, it's got that kind of a head shop kind of vibe. You got to have this in your collection. Really, really awesome stuff. Taboo from Dana. Really great stuff for $12. You can see back here the notes. Yeah, there's also the mossy notes in here that I forgot to mention. So it's definitely got some great stuff in there. And this next one's also a few days ago, featured in the Masterpiece list. This is ENCRE Noir from LALIQUE. This currently sells for $24 for 100 ml. So it's one of those dark and smoky, and it's a dark woody fragrance, and it comes off smoky. It's very, very earthy. And of course, it's got woody notes and aromatic woody notes as well. And I think it's mostly known for the vetiver, and it's quite spicy. And of course, it's very, very earthy and rooty, but it definitely has a very dark characteristic. And I think there's cypress in here as well to give you that kind of a woody aromatic quality or touch. And in the end, I think Nathalie Lorson has created a masterpiece. Again, this is also a masterpiece. I think it's a masterpiece, and especially also for the fact that it's selling at that price. And the thing is, I bought two Dana fragrances. I bought Canoe and I bought Taboo. Canoe seems like it's kind of on its way out, but Taboo still has that lingering power for the reformulations it probably has seen. But going back to LALIQUE's ENCRE Noir, it's a fantastic vetiver fragrance. If you've been, consuming mass market fragrances for the guys and you've been wearing vetiver from Guerlain, maybe step to the other side, go a little darker, a bit more niche, a bit more, smokier, earthier, rootier, and for sure darker noir. It's called ENCRE Noir after all. I love that. It's a great fragrance. It's one of the fragrances I bought when I first started consuming fragrances that were recommended in the fragrance community. Definitely recommended here, and definitely a masterpiece. But I also want to mention and highly recommend the à la extrême version. The original is eau de toilette. You can see on the bottom here. But the à la extrême is an eau de parfum. And I was so excited when this first came out. I actually bought a bottle from France because it wasn't selling here in the States yet. And I think it's just basically taking the original into a more luxurious direction. And I think what's going on here is basically everything you see in the original in eau de toilette and going into a slightly more ambery resinous direction. I think the spices have been intensified, but this also has elemi resin. And I feel like the elemi resin provides a slight citric smokiness and a bit piney kind of resinous ambery touch. But it's just a really awesome scent. I think if you're a fan of Sycamore, but you think it's way overpriced, the Chanel Sycamore from the Les Exclusives collection, both of these will totally do. The ENCRE Noir original, I feel like, is a bit more simplistic, maybe a bit more one-dimensional linear, but I think the à la extrême goes a bit more luxurious and also super sexy for a, vetiver fragrance. So the à la extrême is 100 ml for 30. The original is 24. Both of them are really, really worth having in your collection. And you can decide if you want something a bit more linear or simplistic. Still dark, though, don't get me wrong. They're both very dark vetiver fragrances. Or if you want something a bit more luxurious. Something a bit more similar to Sycamore from Chanel, go with the à la extrême. So those are two highly recommended fragrances on the cheap. They're really, really inexpensive. Anybody that's been wearing vetiver and wants to stick with Guerlain's vetiver and wants to stick with vetiver as a note definitely has to try those and check them out. So let's move on to a sister house to LALIQUE. This is Bentley, and it's for Men Intense. This is one of my all-time highly recommended cheapies. I absolutely love this fragrance, really love it. I like it because it's aromatic and spicy, very warm, spicy, but also has some greenness there and, of course, smokiness. And then you've got ambery resinous touches in the base as well. And once again, both of these fragrances, the ENCRE Noir and the Bentley for Men Intense, including the à la extrême, are created by Nathalie Lorson. So she's created some of the best cheapies you can get. And for me, LALIQUE's ENCRE Noir series and also the Bentley for Men Intense series, two awesome cheapies you got to have in your collection. The Bentley for Men Intense 100 ml for 32. And I absolutely love the dry down of this fragrance. As I said, it's got green aromatic touches against warm spicy touches. It's got ambery effect, a little bit of leather too, I think. And then, of course, some smokiness runs throughout it as well. The dry down is super, super sexy. And a lot of people used to mention this kind of reminds them of the Luban Idole fragrance meshed with something like Chambre Noir from Olfactive Studio. I could see those similarities, but I think this is an awesome, awesome cheapie and one you have to have in your collection. Definitely. All these cheapies I've mentioned so far are going to be under $100 if you buy all of them, or around $100 maybe, give or take. So this is not the first two of Alexandre J and the Shalimar, but the very cheapy fragrances. You should be able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fragrances for around $100. But let's move on to a fragrance from the house of Swiss Arabian. This is SHAGHAF Oud Tonka. Recently, I featured this in a haul video, and I'm surprised at how great this is. I took a chance and blind bought this, and I absolutely love it. I'm kind of building the collection of SHAGHAF fragrances to do a review video of the entire collection, and I'm surprised at how great this Oud Tonka is. Tonka beans have become a very favorite note of mine, especially when they go into the gourmand direction. And this Oud Tonka is also quite potent and also super bitter almondy. And I feel like they add an almondy effect to the fragrances and take it into almost like a marzipan direction. But super awesome. It doesn't remind me of a lot of other fragrances. Like sometimes the Swiss Arabian fragrances can remind you of others. This one doesn't, but the Tonka does remind me of other Tonka that I've smelled in other fragrances. So there is that going for it. But this is 75 ml for $41. It's a really, really great price for a Tonka gourmand. It does have its oudi touches behind all of that bitter almondy Tonka touches. But for me, I get a marzipan gourmand vibe with this, but not super sweet. It's not like a super sweet gourmand. So because it has that bitter almondy touch here, the bitter almondy powdery touch, I think it tones down from going extremely sweet and being a full-on gourmand. Of course, you've got the woodiness in here as well. That adds a slight funk. But to me, what's running the show is the Tonka and the almondy touches, which, like I said, takes me to like a marzipan direction for me, which is quite awesome. And the bottle color, baby blue, sort of, kind of. Great scent. I love that fragrance. Glad I have it. Let me know if you've discovered that. I don't think it's one of their newest ones, but definitely a solid one for you to try if you haven't already. All right, guys, this next one also is a fragrance that I've recommended quite a bit, and I highly, highly recommend it for something that has similarities to the fragrance Tobacco Vanille. I'm going to the house of NIKOS Parfums. This is Sculpture Voyage on Orient. Now, they made an absolute mistake for making this fragrance like a woman's targeted, because first of all, the NIKOS Sculpture series are all for men. And this is also not very feminine. There's other flankers in the series that do come off a bit more feminine than this. But this, to me, comes off like Tobacco Vanille, but with an overdose of a buttery creaminess and a zesty, zingy ginger note added to it as well. And this is 100 ml for $38. I think it's totally an awesome scent if you want an alternative to Tobacco Vanille. It's not a smoky tobacco. It's more ambery. And as I said, I do get that buttery effect in this, which gives me this super smooth creaminess that I really love, these kind of creamy, cozy fragrances. So if you've been wanting a bottle of Tobacco Vanille, it's too expensive. Yeah, it can be too expensive. And you like the idea of something, a bit creamy, buttery in there with a touch of, the zing that ginger gives you. I think this is totally, totally worth it. It's really awesome. Really a perfect scent for autumn and winter. And the color here. This is exactly what you're smelling when you're smelling this fragrance, this color. It's a kind of ambery brown, golden, kind of dark golden colors for the ambery effect it provides, but also the tobacco and the spices. It's very warm, spicy, but that gingery touch that's in here adds a slight freshness, a zesty, zingy freshness. But again, vanillic, ambery, tobacco, and also spices. And of course, you've got that a reminder of Tobacco Vanille, which is super awesome. And the buttery effect that this fragrance is providing is giving you a very cozy vibe for when it's cold outside. Wearing this, it's going to envelop you and create this really nice golden glow around you. And it's only $38 for 100 ml. Super wrong categorized, I think. It's not a feminine fragrance whatsoever. I don't even know why they did that. But I think they used advertising with a woman on it. And I think that's kind of why they kind of tagged this as a woman's fragrance, which is, to me, it's not a woman's fragrance. It's super unisex, if not masculine leaning. So this is Sculpture Voyage on Orient from the NIKOS Parfums House 100 ml for $38. So the next two fragrances, and I've been recommending these two as well quite a bit, Star for Men from Mauboussin and Star for Women from Mauboussin. Let's talk about Star for Men, because this thing keeps selling out. Mauboussin is one of those budget houses. It's a jewelry house, by the way, from France, if you don't know what Mauboussin releases. So it's a designer house, but they have this nice collection of budget offerings for fragrances, and I've discovered some really awesome scents from this house. Most importantly, the Star for Men. It's a Karine de Brule Serenity creation. I think she did both of them. I can't 100% for sure say it. I know for sure she did the men's. And 90 ml for $23. It does have those latent touches. It's quite powdery, it's vanillic, and it's kind of aromatic and woody and spicy. So it's got this cozy vibe, which is awesome. I love that about it, but it's super powdery. But that warmth, gives you that, it's a dusty kind of warmth. So it's not super creamy. Like, I don't get the creaminess that I got in the Voyage on Orient. But again, it's so awesome. It's a really, really great smelling fragrance. It smells super spicy, very vanillic, very powdery, woody. And then, of course, aromatic notes come in as well. So this is a really, really nice scent for $23. It's a 90 ml, not a full 100 ml, 90 ml, but totally worth it. I'm sure it'll sell out again. This is how the box is. 90 ml for $23. I'm most likely that's going to sell out. And then the thing with the women's is sold out, but I noticed that there is a gift set for the women's. Normally these are both 90 ml bottles. There is stock for the men's, so run out and get that. There's no stock of the original 90 ml bottle, but there's a gift set with the 90 ml bottle and a 20 ml, small atomizer that you carry with you, and that's only $28 for that. So $23 for this, just for a 90 ml for the men's Star for Men. And then the Star for Women comes as a gift set with a total of 110 ml juice split into a 90 ml bottle and a 20 ml atomizer that you carry with you for $28. And this one's also powdery, and I also don't think this is super feminine. This might be more feminine for sure out of all of the stuff we've smelled today. And also it's very, very powdery. This is a bit more coconutty. It's also kind of creamy, powdery. So you've got this kind of a cool, almost like tropical coconutty, maybe a little almondy touch here, but super vanillic and super smooth and cozy as well. Like, this one has a very calming effect happening with it. And really totally worth it here. Really great fragrance for really, really awesome prices. If you haven't checked these two out, do check them out. They also come in most beautiful bottles. Look, these are really, really super awesome looking bottles, I should say. Next I'm going to do is find the red version of this. It's a flanker. I haven't got my nose on that one yet. If anybody has any info on that, what it smells like, is it worth it? I think it's called Star for Women Cherie. Is that correct? Or Star Cherie or something like that. I can't remember. But do let me know if you have gotten your nose on that one. Let's talk about two more fragrances and wrap up the video. This next fragrance is from the house of Obvious. This is UNE FIGUE. So I actually did a video on some of these budget fragrances from Obvious. Most importantly, the UNE Bois and UNE Musk were two of my favorites. Those sold out because they were around $40 for 100 ml. Really great price for niche fragrances, because these sell for about $150 or $130 or something like that. But this is 100 ml for $43. It's a fig focused fragrance. And even though we're in the, winter months, I think it'll be great fragrance for wearing in the the spring months that are around the corner. So this does go green. It's also very woody and aromatic and spicy. It's not coming off very fruity on me. It's mostly the green, but this also has a slight marine touch, and it's a tolerable marine touch, not super cologne heavy. That's going to go extremely fishy. This is acting more like a sea breeze, which is a great touch to the fragrance. And, figs growing along the coast. It's a really great, visual that I really love. The Mediterranean, and of course along the water, and of course the fig trees, which I really am really happy to have these kind of awesome kind of green, bitter, aromatic notes that come from, the growth and plants and trees of the Mediterranean. So this gives me total Mediterranean vibes, but again, Mediterranean along the coast. This is a bit more like, as I smell it, it smells a bit like late summer, early autumn, because there's a warmth in this fragrance. Because of that warmth, you're smelling the figs, the intensity, the warmth that, intensifies the smell of the tree, and it's against the water or along the coast, so you're getting some of that sea breeze smell. So it's a really awesome fig fragrance. Check it out if you haven't yet. This is UNE FIGUE by Obvious, 100 ml for $43. So these are really, really great prices, and this is the most expensive out of the 10 that I'm talking about, not including the Imperial Peacock and the Guerlain. This is Thomas Cosmala's number 4 Après l'Amour. This is 100 ml for $75, and it's a great price for this fragrance, especially if you like fragrances like Baccarat Rouge, vanilla powder minus the vanilla, because it's got those kind of touches. In fact, you can actually use this to boost up vanilla powder, and it'll tone down the vanilla as well. Just imagine vanilla powder without the vanilla in Thomas Cosmala's number 4 Après l'Amour. So it's 100 ml for $75. It's super intense, really long lasting. It's a very, very synthetic smell because it's ambrox and amber woods, by the way. Very, very musky, powdery, dry, and woody. And it might have some light traces, aquatic, marine touches, because in the end, it's supposed to replicate the smell of ambergris, but they're giving us the idea of ambergris, but not smelling like it. It doesn't smell animalic, but super powdery, dry, dusty, woody, musky. And again, it does remind me of vanilla powder from Matière Première, but minus the vanilla. So this is 100 ml for $75. Really great price for that. And if you want to intensify vanilla powder, either the original EDP or the X-Ray that just came out, that's also a great layering tool. Because what I like about this fragrance and some of the fragrances from this house, they're perfect fragrances to layer with or to enhance other fragrances with. And this, as I said, since it reminds me of the smell of vanilla powder minus the vanilla, I think it'll be a great total booster for that. Or anything like that. Like you can do it with probably Baccarat Rouge, maybe For Your Love from Mise en Cire, and so on and so on. It's great. You must have this in your collection. It's one of my favorites from Thomas Cosmala. This is number 4 Après l'Amour, and it's the EDP version, and currently it's 100 ml for $75 for a tester. But the rest of the fragrances are really super cheap. Get them. I highly recommend them. They're going to make you smell great. And some of these do sell out, like the Mauboussins always sell out. But of course, the other fragrances from Obvious I recommended have been completely sold out, and I don't see them at the discounters anymore. And I have a feeling for sure the Shalimar is going to be sold out, and there's not going to be any stock out there. And that is a great price for $65 for 50 ml. And then, of course, at one point, this is also going to be sold out. Again, we featured that in our Scent Club kit a year ago last autumn, and since it is almost $400, but it is currently discounted to $181, totally worth having in your collection. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today's video. What do you guys think about these fragrances? Are you a fan of these fragrances? Do you have them? Have you been wanting to buy them? Get them before they run out. And also, just going back to Taboo once again, I can't believe how good this is. It's so good. Even for a fragrance that's like around 100 years old, it's really great. So good. Amber lovers, you must have this in your collection. Anyway, I appreciate you tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Add below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon and also give a thumbs up for this video. It really helps with the video to get around and spread out in YouTube. All right, guys. See you guys later. Bye-bye.